Call this meeting to order. Mark Corbin is not here yet, everyone else is present. Approval of agenda.
No additions. I'll move to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor? 6-0. On consent items.
Nobody has any questions, I'll move to approve the consent items.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? No. 5-1. Sandy opposed. Citizen comments. Nobody has anything, we will move on to Kyle, athletic activities report.
Alright, first for the junior high side, this is the last week of fall sports. We're in their fall season this Thursday at home with Quinter, and then with our league, basketball will be climbing up pretty fast. So, over the weekend we hosted league volleyball, outside of a bunch of games going to 3 sets, went pretty well. Long day for sure, but we got through it. Regional volleyball is coming up. And for high school football, we got 2 more district games before we start postseason play.
All right, thank you. Sandy, I'm assuming minutes in the packet?
It is.
All right, anything to add?
No, we don't.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bruce is not present. Principal report, Mr. Cordy, you're up.
After our last meeting, as we presented at the last board meeting, our MTSS team did indeed travel to Wichita to present at the MTSS conference. I actually thought it was a great experience, not just to present, but to go see other presenters. Since then, several schools have reached out to learn more about how we conduct our interventions and structure our supports. I was surprised and impressed to visit with representatives from larger schools who are interested in learning how we achieve our results with the goal of replicating our success, which I actually think for larger schools is fairly easy. After that, we had our homecoming week, which was an amazing experience this year. It was my second as a principal, but it was wonderful to see school spirit alive and well and feel the incredible support from our booster club and our community. I'm very thankful for all that our community and booster club continue to do for our students and staff. It's been a real blessing to have the booster club back up and active. This past week, we held our student-led conferences, which were very well attended. Our students did an excellent job preparing to showcase their learning, and in high school, many have begun meaningful conversations about their future plans after graduation. As Coach Gefeller mentioned, over this past weekend, we hosted both league volleyball tournament and high school football game. I want to give a big shout out to all of our staff and volunteers that helped make both of those events run smoothly. It truly takes a team effort, and without them, I don't think it would have taken place, actually. Today, our K-12 teachers attended an in-service in Colby focused on professional learning communities. Since many of our schools only have 1 teacher per grade level or subject area, the league superintendents developed the initiative, and I'm sure I'm stealing some of her thunder, to help teachers collaborate and support one another across schools. I had the privilege of working with the league's high school ELA teachers, and the discussions were very productive. We began by introducing and getting to know each other, and then reviewing each school's curriculum. All but 1 school in our league is using Perspectives, which is what we use. And then they shared a whole bunch of strategies for teaching specific lessons with composition being a key area of focus for this particular meeting. I look forward to discussing with the rest of our staff, hopefully in the coming days, how their experience and takeaways from the day were. One of the perks is it's not just a one and done. There's scheduled, which some groups did more than we did, and already scheduled their next 3 meetings for virtual meetings. Our group we just took it slow and decided to do one quarter at a time, so we have our November meeting scheduled. As Coach Gefeller mentioned, looking ahead, even though it feels like the school year just began, our fall sports seasons are already winding down. Junior high boys basketball begins, believe it or not, 1 week from today with practice. Junior high volleyball will compete in their league tournament next Thursday in Colby. High school volleyball and cross-country teams will participate in their respective regional and sub-state competitions next week. And as Coach G mentioned, high school football has 2 more weeks left in the regular season before bi-district play begins. One point I wish to make, so everyone knows, if we continue as well as we are and we finish first or second in our district, which if we win 1 more game, we will have a bye week. As the district we pair with, the cross district only has 3 teams as opposed to 5, and so the top 2 teams in our particular district will have a bye. Finally, this upcoming Wednesday, Coach Gefeller and I will be traveling to Salina for the biannual football scheduling meeting. I have no idea why the Acacia has not updated times, so not every single AD in the state has to drive to this, but we still do. Coach Gefeller has been working diligently to prepare for the next 2-year schedule. I believe he has everything pre-planned, which I'll kind of explain. The meeting itself is quite an experience if you've never gone to it, which most people never will. For those unfamiliar, at 10 a.m. sharp, they legitimately ring a bell, and then they hand out district assignments on a piece of paper, and it feels like you have 10 minutes to build your schedule, and after that 10 minutes, if you don't have anything, you're pretty much done for. They have an overhead projector, and that's when you start looking at, for us, it would be Kansas City and Wichita teams, which is too far to travel just for a non-district game. So I do believe, hopefully, with the pre-planning that we will have all 3 of our pre-district games scheduled before we even arrive, as long as the district shows up the way, or lines out the way we believe it will. That's all.
Some Christie, you're up, superintendent report.
All right, I would like to start this with some really great news that we recently received from KSD and the State Board of Education. Wallace County Schools received the following recognitions for the 24-25 school year. We received a gold in graduation. We received a bronze in academically prepared for post-secondary success. We received a bronze in post-secondary effectiveness, and those are all taken by the data that our school, as far as testing goes, and the data that they take for graduation, and then the data they get from when our students graduate and the success they have after they graduate. The individual plan of study, I'd like to really highlight this. We got a copper in this. This is the first year that we've actually, these are 1 through star applications, and these take a substantial amount of work to apply for. And our district leadership team, and specifically Mrs. DeWeese, led the effort in getting this copper recognition, and so a lot of effort and time went into this, and I'm very proud to be able to say that our individual plan of study received an award this year. And then our 5th award is the Commissioner's Award. And so very, very proud of our team, not only our district leadership team, but everybody on staff, teachers, everybody's working hard to make excellent things happen across our district every day. We couldn't do it without everybody. So really commendable, everybody on that. And I would really like for the board to maybe take some effort to recognize our staff and this exciting accomplishment. So maybe if you could spend a little bit of time thinking about that, how we would recognize. I think it's important that our community celebrates this as well. So that's the exciting part. That's the part that I really love to talk about. Some of the other things that have been happening, there's been so much that's happened since the last board meeting. We had mock interviews. That is a great opportunity for us to build some relationships with businesses and individuals. And so our seniors participated in that. They also did Apply Kansas Day, which seniors are then able to apply to any Kansas school on that day for free, Kansas University or college that day for free. And so our seniors got in on that. All the activities that we hosted at home went very well. We had body ventures that Weskin came over and K through 5 went through. Our students attended a college fair at Colby Community College, 8th grade through 12th grade, and that went well. Presenting our MTSS in Wichita was awesome. Like Andrew said, we were pleasantly surprised on that. And then I guess another thing that we were asked to do was present at the regional superintendent's meeting, and I wasn't quite sure how that would go over, but it went over very well. Had several superintendents reached out and principals reached out to ask questions about how it works in our school. Kathy Hopkins was there, and most of you know she's on the Board of Education there next, and actually she serves as the chairman there, and she made an extra effort to come in and ask some questions and tell us that she really noticed that we were making it work in a small district, even though it was difficult probably to have the staff to do that. So we are now officially have a new rooftop unit at the end of today. So that was put off a couple of times due to shipping and getting that rooftop unit here, but today it got put on, and so there was just a few minor things that happened. A curb adapter didn't exactly line up. They've got that worked. They had to adjust that curb adapter, and there's a little bit of the roof that got torn out. It's gonna need just a little bit of a top coat on it. So they will be working with, we will all be working on talking to Washington Roofing, because most of you were on this board when we got Washington Roofing here to do that. So we'll be working with them to fix a couple of the minor spots in the roof. It's pretty well wired up. They have already built the program, so tomorrow they're going to probably just do some adjustments, and Dale feels that as if in a couple of days that unit will be all up and functioning. So that's the ideal, right? So we're hoping that's the way it happens. But anyway, that's exciting for me because people have been in the building since June. So it's exciting that, and they're really no trouble at all, but it's just another thing that we deal with usually on a daily basis. So Glassman's have been in the building. They serviced the boiler. I just did get boiler pictures late this afternoon. I'm willing to share this with you tonight if you like. They landed on my phone, but I showed those to Dale as well. Dale feels like that looks the boiler looks really good, and so there's really no concerns from Glassman's or Dale at this time. So I feel like that was a good report that we had. So, and then the air handling unit has been fixed, and I'll let Mark jump in at any point if he wants to, but Dale fixed the coils, and then Mark fixed the shaft, and I guess the only thing that really hasn't been addressed is the drain on it. It's not that it's not gonna work if we don't have the drain fixed, but that's kind of a safety precaution. But I talked to Dale this afternoon, and he said, well, that drain is good for safety, but it also made you never realize you had a problem, right? Because it was just draining, and you don't go up there, there's really no need, but since there was a drain, you never realized there was an issue. So the idea that we need to get up there at least he says twice a year to make sure everything's working in there correctly, so. Our school improvement day that we've been working with our consultant and with Tazen is, November 10th. And so I will be doing a couple of Zooms to make sure we're ready for that, meeting with the state, regional lady. Working through the budget and the SO 66 report, our official FTE count was 135.7 compared to 146.4 last year. Our enrollment is lower, our CTE minutes are up, and I have not been able to really, be able to talk to anybody about what that means as far as the funding difference that would be. So as soon as I find that out, I will let you know. I attended letters training, and in order to have a civil literacy, administrators have to go through the letters training as well as teachers. So I am almost done. I've got one more meeting, then I've got to pass a test. So that allows me to help know what I'm supposed to see as I go into classrooms and see teachers teaching. And it's good. It's really great training. I've been attending the Greenbush Leadership Academy, and I've really enjoyed that. It's probably the best professional development I've been able to take as a superintendent. So been enjoying my time visiting with other administrators across the state. We did have parent-teacher conferences in the K through 5, and then SLCs were 6 through 12. We haven't had a whole lot of time to talk with teachers because of the day that we had today as far as PD, but had good feedback on that, and good attendance. Today was very beneficial, and as superintendents we have been discussing a league-wide professional development day we definitely started talking about it last year, but we just hadn't aligned our calendars so that could happen. And so last winter, as we were addressing calendars, we made sure that everybody in the league was falling in line with the calendar so we could make that work. And so it was really great to see league teachers being able to meet with people in their world, right? The second grade teacher talking to a second grade teacher and being able to visit and have time for that, because no, teachers don't have a lot of time for that with students in their classrooms all day. So we are planning to do that. And one thing as superintendents we talked a lot about was, well, we can plan these days, but then what do we do with it? We can all have a good day in October, and then if we don't ever talk again. So we did schedule Zooms to meet 3 more times during the year, so that those teachers can start to build relationships and have some support and be able to feel like they can really bounce ideas off of other people. I think I led the high school science group. I think we had a teacher in there that had taught, she's about my age, so 27 years, and then we had a teacher in there that has taught 2 or 3 years. And so, that those teachers being able to converse, and it was funny the difference, like the younger teachers were a little bit better with the technology, right? And they learned, the older teachers learned from them, and then the younger teachers really learned about some of the substance and where to go to really learn the content. So it was good. It was really great. So any questions from the board?
So you talked about those awards, have the scores, are the scores out for this past year?
Pretty much,
I haven't
yes.
looked yet, so they are out.
Yes, and I can share this with you guys.
Okay, sounds
Yep.
great.
Yeah, we just got the awards Thursday.
I knew I hadn't looked in a while.
I just don't know if they have them posted on the, you could go and look for sure, but I don't know if they have them posted up on the KSD website, so.
But you've got them.
But I've got them, so
Okay.
I can share this with you guys.
Sounds great. I haven't looked in a while, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Discussion action items. Number 1, supplemental contract.
Mr. President, I recommend Megan Cox for junior high boys basketball assistant.
So junior high what?
boys basketball assistant coach.
Assistant, okay.
I'll move to approve Megan Cox as the junior high boys basketball assistant coach.
Is there a second? We only need one more because there was two that stuck on each other's toes to second, so I don't, who'd you put down?
I put down Mark.
Okay, good,
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
okay.
oh yeah.
Okay, we got Brad, followed by Mark, all in favor? 7.
Ask you if you want to discuss this.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend Zachary be added to the substitute teacher list.
I'll move Zach to substitute teacher list.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Who seconded it?
Bruce did, Bruce has a second. 7-0. All right, moving on, resignation number 3.
Mr. President, I would like to recommend to accept the resignation, or the retirement for Colleen Wagner.
Okay.
I'll move to accept the resignation of Colin Wagner.
Do we have a second?
What's that?
Resignation.
I'll second it.
Okay, Brad and Sandy. All in favor? 7-0. Number 4, membership and care.
Mr. President, I put in information that I received in the email. I had been asked probably since I started, and I mean, be honest to me, I really didn't know what this was, and so I had an individual reach out to me personally, and I told them I would take it to the school board. It is the Kansas Association of Rural Education, and basically it's membership in there that they give a voice to rural schools at the state level. It is a $400 membership fee. I think one of the things that I've heard being talked about was the new school finance formula is being discussed. And being able for rural schools to have a voice in that, so when Wichita and Kansas City areas, they're not just being able to voice their opinion without hearing from smaller schools, so you guys could have some discussion around that, or
I did a bit of research, I didn't see anybody else did or not, but I found that they are highly supportive of program ARVR. Anybody else see that? It enhances DEI. Sounds like it's pretty costly, and I see there is a fee here. And there's a gap in a lot of the research. It's been understudied, and I think K-State is the one really encouraging this through the care. So I'm not in favor of that for sure from what I found. Studies have noted that improving reading comprehension skills in VR is challenging and remains understudied, and then very limited studies exist on the impact of this stuff that they're wanting to push through this care. And, so I just wanted to share what I found on that. I didn't think that was too positive on that. I know we're having budget issues. I'm thinking that we don't need to spend any more money on things.
Well, I'm with you on that. I mean, yeah, it'd be neat to somehow have somebody have a little heavier voice and speak in front of rural schools, but when is this like this is the time of year to sign up for this? Is this you sign up any time of year, or is this?
they said last call for it, so I think you have to.
I don't know if I'd be down to jump on board at this moment, but not knowing any more about it than I do.
really don't, I mean, like I said, I've just kind of taken the mindset that it is an extra expense, and so I guess you just decide if it's worth the having, is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, actually, the individual that called me was from Wheatland, or Greenfield area, and, he's a board member, and really just wants some of these schools out here to have more of a voice, so that's,
So he was sort
so
of pushing it.
he, yeah, I mean, so I got that, and I've also got a phone call, so.
This is a new program?
It's been around here for a while. They do some, professional development for rural schools as well. The only thing I don't like about it is most of them aren't in Manhattan, so you gotta send someone, and they're good programs, they're really good programs that they have, like teacher prep stuff, but for our teachers going 5 hours, it just takes them going, a day off, a motel room, and so it's kinda like trying to find something closer for
So
them.
we gotta go to the city for rural development.
Yeah,
State ends in September.
Yeah, I know. I would let it slide for me, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm good without it.
I'm getting towards.
Everybody good? Okay, number 4 dies. Moving on, consent order from Attorney General.
So including Joanna?
Please take one and pass the rest around. I think I might if I pull a chair up here.
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you an update, those of you who did review the document that the Attorney General's office sent initially, errors in it. We communicated, attempted to, some of the errors were substantive, some were superficial, so to speak. The Attorney General's office didn't accept the one that we have corrected, sent another one back. As you'll see there, it still contains a lot of the errors. However, the Attorney General's office says this is final. So as often occurs in litigation, sometimes you just agree to something that isn't quite right in order to get it over with. Just to recap, the board has been offered a consent decree by the Attorney General's office in an investigation that started with a complaint filed by board member Collins. The board received that in July of 2024. It concerned a February 2024 meeting. I believe board members are aware that Kansas case law acknowledges that at times it is difficult to segregate exempt and non-exempt topics. In
executive session, and therefore it's often permitted to discuss exempt and non-exempt topics when they are inextricably entwined. The Attorney General's office in this case concluded that the balance was not struck correctly by the board, and the Attorney General's office concluded that policy that went beyond a particular student's request was discussed in executive session. I would point out that it is really quite difficult to do this when you are being asked to recall things that happened 6 months ago. In the past, as the board is aware, when someone has been concerned that there was possibly a violation of the Open Meeting Act, the board has self-reported. Board was not given the opportunity to do this. You can also request from the Attorney General's office guidance if someone thinks there was a violation and people aren't sure. You can do that. But this is certainly a procedure that the law permits. And so in the course of this, the Attorney General's office reviewed minutes, 2 years worth of minutes of the board, and concluded that often motions to go into executive session were not specific enough. The Open Meeting Act was amended after some of you became board members, and the amendments require more specificity than they do prior to, I can't remember the years of some of you, but I know there was an amendment an administrator or two ago. And so you've had some training since we learned of this complaint last year, and I brought some of the documents you were provided with last year again, just as reminders. The Attorney General's office proposes that each of you do 2 hours of Open Meeting Act training. And they had some guidance for me about who should be the provider of that. We'll attempt to line that up. Some of you may have tried to do this on your own. I'm sure that's fine, but it's a good idea to do it all together, in my opinion. So the bulk of this, there was then another complaint filed by Ms. Collins that the board was not notified of last year. We became aware of it in September of this year when the Attorney General responded about a year after our response had gone to them, and that complaint addressed a June 2024 meeting. The Attorney General found no violation in the executive session there, but did find that the motions in that meeting were inadequate. So that's why the recommendation for training exists. There will be a $100 fine for each person who was a board member. Even though there are errors in this draft, and I did point them out and ask for corrections, I did not receive corrections. And so we could spend more time on it, we could try again, but the board should decide if it wants to just enter this, notwithstanding the errors. It calls the Board of Council in one place, calls the Board of Commission, misspells Cameron's name now in one location, and things like that. Also, they removed the clarification about former board members. There doesn't seem to me to be much point in requiring a former board member to take coma training, but that's the way the order reads. So I was told that the signature of the former board member is not required on this document, but the fine, of course, has to be paid by all, except of course Mr. McCain, who wasn't a board member. They go by board members at the time the complaints were filed. So even though some of the minutes go back into another board member's tenure, they're just concerned with board members at the time the complaint was filed. So I want to note that I think it's important that there was no allegation that a decision was made in executive session. You know, the point of the Open Meeting Act is for the public to be able to see the board engage in decision making. There's no allegation that fact occurred. And, so no binding action was taken. It's difficult to strike a balance sometimes between protecting the privacy interests of students and staff, which you are required by law to do, and not going beyond what's permitted in executive session. That's just something all public boards struggle with, but we've had no allegation that there are meetings of board members outside regular scheduled meetings or anything like that. So, I think that because this process has been so extended, I have the original here. If you wish to adopt this, then each of you should sign it in open meeting. It should be adopted by a proper motion stating specifically what the title and date of the document is. And then I will circulate the original for you to sign in open meeting, if that's what you choose to do. If you wish to get into more detail, I would recommend that an executive session be convened, but if you don't think that's necessary, I think we pretty well covered it.
Very good. We have a motion to accept this consent order.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent order given to us by the Attorney General's office referring to case number 2025-0G-0004.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed? 6 in favor and a no vote.
Let's see, Sandy, let's go from the bottom. We'll start with you.
I'm gonna take this one out.
I can take them right here. Thank you. So I received, let's see, 4 members passed it and signed the last version of the last meeting and provided me with their checks at that time. Collins and Chuck provided their checks to the clerk. I have everyone's check, and I will make sure this is postmarked tomorrow, and that Mrs. Hammer, and
Mr. Sloan sent his directly to the Attorney General's office.
yes, and he is not required to sign it. They did confirm that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting's adjourned.